That's right. Use Gastograph. That's right. 95% of new food and beverage product fails, like all these. That means the industry is spending $18 billion every year to products that no one wants. The food and beverage industry companies need to have better tools and data analysis techniques to be able to better meet the constantly changing consumer preferences in the competitive market. And this matters because flavor, aroma, and texture determine which of the products will succeed. I'm Zhongjun Li, the account manager of Asian Pacific Analytical Flavor System. We are the companies behind the Gastograph AI, the first AI for the food and beverage industry. The Gastograph AI is an artificial intelligence platform that we use human sensory data to be able to model and predict human preference and perception over aroma, texture, and flavor. So we help producers to be able to develop new products and to model and be able to target new consumer cohorts in the future. So how does it work? First, we build a translation layer between different kind of demographics. It's just like a Google Translator can translate between English to French and French to German. We can do the same thing to flavors. We have a model constructed to translate flavor perception between different demographics. Let's say you want to develop a new product and you have the triangle, circle, and the square data on the panel, and let's say the triangles are the Americans, the circles are the French, and the squares are of course the Germans, and you'll be able to essentially model a much more robust distribution based on that translation layer. And at the end of the day, after the model is trained, you can actually drop the German consumer panelist off from the board. And you can be able to extract flavor perceptions from the American and the French perception to predict what German consumer cohorts will perceive a certain kind of product based on the model. And we can do that for almost all of the most highest value consumer cohorts in the world. So we see preferences as signatures that can exist at any level of abstraction, and we keep track over 600 signatures in food and beverage at the same time. So that's an example of the signatures that we're tracking. So these signatures are constantly moving into different preference state. So we are able to decompose all those signatures and form a gradient to see how a signature can interact with other signatures and be able to see what the result and preference will be. Just like this poor little girl, she might not like lemon on its own, but she might actually like this chocolate lemonade, where lemon as a flavor exists with other flavors at the same time. It's something that we can do is like what in natural language processing that scientists be able to perform operations like king minus woman plus king minus man plus woman equals queen. We can do the same thing with flavors. We can have a product minus the lime flavor and plus the lemon flavor and be able to predict how a given consumer cohort will perceive that new products without any actual R&D or product formulation process in 5 layers deep. And finally, it's not enough to build a product that will success and meet the consumer preference today. It needs to be success in the future. Right now, we see a constantly growing to stable preference over bitterness and a growing emerging preference over sour. And these preferences can be utilized and collectively used to predict emerging product categories. And the explosion of kombucha could have been predicted with this technique. So right now, what's next? The Gastograph AI is now being actively used global-wide by producers for product formulation and developments. And together, we strive to create a tastier future. Thank you so much.